Hi folks, Matt Easton here, Scholar Gladiatoria. So you guys, obviously, you're subscribed to my channel and you're used to me talking about swords and weapons and armour and warfare and history and things like this. But I do have other interests, and that's why this video is on my off-topic playlist. And one of my interests is Star Wars. Yes, like probably 90% of the world's population, I love Star Wars. There's other things I love as well, but I'm jumping on the bandwagon. No, I'm not really jumping on the bandwagon. I'm making this video because I've just got kind of one thing to say. If you're not interested in Star Wars, switch off now, because this will be utterly boring to you. But the point I want to make is that I've been watching lots of videos in the last month in the build-up to the release of The Force Awakens, which is in 2 weeks from now, as of when I'm filming this video. And I guess the thing that kind of I'm starting to realise is everybody's talking about, oh, where's Luke been, where's Han been, are Han and Leia still together, who's going to die in the first film, in Force Awakens, is Han going to die, is Chewie going to die, who's Kylo Ren and Rey, are they siblings, are they son and daughter of Han and Leia, or is Kylo Luke's son, all of this kind of stuff. And there's this, for me anyway, there's kind of like today I was watching IGN, okay, Rebel Base on IGN channel, shout out to IGN, which is kind of ironic considering they've got like 6.5 million subscribers, but a good show, interesting show, and they mentioned something that suddenly got me thinking, like, why is no one talking more about Leia? So we think back to, what is the last film in this sequence? It's Return of the Jedi. One of the big reveals, at least to the characters in the film we're watching, we've known it for a long time, but to the characters in the film that we're watching, one of the big reveals is that Leia is Luke's sister. Okay, so Luke goes, and I paraphrase, you know, he goes, when he's revealing that to Leia that she's his sister, he goes, you know, the Force is strong in my family, you know, my father had it, I had it, and my sister has it as well. And the realisation on Leia's face as she realises that, ah, shit, yeah, you're my brother, I should have realised this before. And that's really, really important. If we think about this, what we're looking at now is a sequel to Return of the Jedi, and yet 30 years later, Leia is supposed to be strong in the Force. Luke said so. He said so in Return of the Jedi. Anakin, aka Darth Vader of course, was mega powerful in the Force, and Luke is supposed to be ultimately mega powerful in the Force, although in Return of the Jedi he's still kind of essentially, he's a Jedi Knight, but he's still, his Force is, his force in the Force, his power of the Force, his grasp on the Force, I don't know, but his Force powers are kind of supposed to be on the up, I think, and on kind of growing. And most people assume that in The Force Awakens, Luke has achieved a sort of position where he's a more sagely, a sort of, you know, master living up on the mountain with a big beard, and he's more powerful than he was in Return of the Jedi. But what about Leia? Of course, we know that not everybody who is strong in the Force or has Force abilities necessarily chooses to be a Jedi Knight or a Force user. They don't necessarily have to use their magic in their everyday life. They might kind of go, yeah, I kind of get premonitions about things, and you know, when something's falling over, I know to stand out of the way, or and you know, I get these kind of emotions when I can feel disturbances in the Force. But you know, I choose not to kind of develop that skill, and it's just not really what I'm interested in. And in Leia's case, we could say, and I think most people assume, she's now a general. We now know her as a general rather than a princess, because of course the planet that she was a princess on is destroyed in the first film, in New Hope. So we assume that she's now a general, and everybody's talking about Leia as if she's a general. But for me, as I say, the big elephant in the room is she's supposed to be really powerful in the Force, whether she chooses to use it or not. So the thing that I'm really interested in with The Force Awakens is seeing a bit more about Leia, actually, and and there's not been a lot of discussion about Leia. It's like people are more interested in Han and Luke, and they kind of forget Leia. Leia is as important, potentially, as Luke. Okay, remember the discussion between Obi-Wan and Yoda about, you know, this kid Luke, he's our last hope. No, there's another one. The other one being Leia. Yoda thought that Leia was as important almost as Luke. Okay, so we want to know, what has she done with these Force powers? Has she done nothing? Has she just carried on being a leader of the Rebel Alliance, now known as the Resistance? Or has she actually used these Force powers to be kind of like an Uber general? Maybe she can direct forces on the battlefield or in the air with her Force powers, or you know, maybe she physically fights at some point using her Force powers. This, to me, is massively a massive kind of potential for the storyline, and everybody seems to be ignoring the fact that Leia is fucking important and fucking powerful. So, there we go, guys. There's my little rambling thoughts about The Force Awakens, and I'm really excited to see the film. I haven't got my tickets yet. I don't know what I was thinking, but I'm sure I'll be able to see it pretty soon when it comes out. And I love Star Wars Lego. Cheers, folks. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe and feel free to follow us on Facebook.